Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Welcome to day 10 of spoiler season for patch 3.19 and the upcoming Lake of Kalandra expansion. Today we got the entire list of new divination cards, which was such a big piece of news that I made its own video on it. Link to that in the bottom left of the screen in the last 20 seconds of this video. And we also got two new unique items. There is the overhaul of the Magnate and the overhaul of Bronn's Lithe. Let's start with the Magnate first. This is a belt that rewards strength stacking earlier in the game than you can normally strength stack. This is a reasonably powerful leveling belt, and it's going to be a little bit better for leveling. So in terms of the changes to this, it's keeping the strength roll, it's keeping the mostly useless implicit, and it's keeping the 50% increased flask charges gained. 50% increased flask charges gained is fantastic during the storyline, as are the other mods. Like, it's all generally really good stuff while you're leveling. The changes that are happening, firstly, the elemental resistances are becoming unconditional. I really like this because elemental resistances are more important to have early in the game than damage, and so this is going to be something that will have a bit of Goldrum appeal. It'll be something that will save you a lot of hassle with swapping around gear while you're leveling. So that's becoming unconditional, and then the damage component of the Magnate is becoming more conditional, but also more powerful. Instead of having 32% increased global physical damage, it's not always 32%, it's a roll range, you're going to have 10% chance to deal double damage while you've got at least 200 strength. Then 5% chance to deal triple damage when you've got at least 400 strength. It's worth noting that these stack in the worst possible way. Triple damage is checked first. If that's successful, then you don't make any check for double damage. If the check is unsuccessful, then you make a check for double damage. Also, neither double nor triple damage apply to damage over time that you inflict. However, this is still a 19.5% more multiplier to your damage while you've got 400 strength, and a 10% more multiplier when you've got 200. All in all, I expect that the Magnate will last a lot longer on leveling. Instead of this being an item that you pick up in Act 3 because you get a lucky drop, you equip it straight away and you leave it on until white maps, then you replace it with a rare belt. Now I think it's going to last a fair bit longer. You might be able to equip this all the way up to and including the Shaper. About that point, you're going to want to try and replace it with a really good rare item. The second item that we got today was Bronn's Lithe, and this is getting a really interesting rework. This is somewhat of a build around unique that's not good enough to build around in the live game. It's something that rewards you for playing with movement skills and for doing damage with them. Now, the main movement skill people do damage with is Cyclone, and this is not actually getting any better really with Cyclone. So the changes, it is losing one important mod. It is losing the 15% conditional attack and cast speed. It is also gaining a big increase in the amount of increased damage that you do with movement skills, and the +2 to the level of socket of movement gems is becoming +5. So for Cyclone, this is mostly a wash, maybe a little bit of a buff, because losing that 15% attack speed hurts, but getting the extra damage with movement skills, that makes up for it. 3 more gem levels on Cyclone isn't a huge deal, but it is something. A couple other movement skills, it's an improvement on, but not massive. Shield Charge is getting a little bit better with it. Where I think this really shines though is spell-based movement skills. And if you ever want to do damage with a spell-based movement skill, you probably want to do it with Frostblink. Frostblink gains a lot from 5 gem levels, like a really big amount. And even though the 10% increased attack speed on Bronn's Lithe is then a wasted stat, you're getting so much from the rest of this item that I do think it's worth considering building around. Now, this may not be the most serious build, but it definitely looks interesting as a meme build. And I was just sort of theory crafting in my head, what if you were to inflict ignites using Frostblink? You're going to convert your damage into fire using the unique ring Pyre and or cold to fire support, and you're going to use replica cold iron point to get a lot more gem levels on your Frostblink. With this and pretty low investment, all you need is Bronn's Lithe itself and 2 replica cold iron points, you can get level 32 on your Frostblink, and that's a lot. Level 32 is a breakpoint for area on the skill, and also you're just going to do staggering amounts of damage, which are then going to inflict some pretty big ignites. I like this in theory. I don't know if it'll be any good in practice or not, but it's just something that seems like a little bit of fun. And I like unique items that empower things like that. Anyways, that's all I got on today's news. I will put a link in the bottom left of the screen at the moment to the video on the divination cards. May your Valorbs have interesting results, and I'll see you around.